Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 19 shows us the Shinju contemplating their new emotions, understanding human emotions, understanding reasoning, understanding love, and trying to figure out how can they overcome it or make the best possible decision for themselves. How do they still cope with this feeling, or how do they feel those emotions without distracting themselves from the logic or the right way to do things. They're following their instincts, and should they get lost in those emotions, they could become something else entirely. They could follow a path that's not towards their instincts, towards their goals, towards what they feel. You know what I'm saying? But in this mission right here, we're seeing them confront those feelings, and we're seeing Matsuri and Ryu deal with the situation differently. I feel like Ryu is taking the fight without the emotional turmoil of having a crush on Mitsuki, Arya, Yodo, or Sarada, right? Like, he's not emotionally invested or infatuated with them, and the same way that Matsuri is with Konohamaru. So, what can the Shinju really learn from this mission, win or lose, right? Assuming that the Shinju actually lose, which I doubt. But let's just say the Shinju lose this battle. What can they learn from it? What can they learn from Matsuri's failure? What can they learn from Ryu's failure? And I think the main thing that they can gain, or they can learn from Matsuri failing, is her feeling. Why she failed, you know? She probably might fail because of her emotion or her love for Konohamaru, her crush, that feeling. And it distracted her. You know, she wanted to devour Konohamaru right from the start. But instead of that, she turned into like this mushy-gushy, blushing little girl who was like all about Konohamaru, and it made her weak. It made her vulnerable. She could have been attacked, right? But now she's in this angry state of mind. She's really angry at Konohamaru. He's pissed her off because of his emotions, you know, his love for Moegi, right? And that's the jealousy that she has for him over that relationship. And that's something that they can learn, something that they can gain insight and knowledge about, so that way they don't have to feel that, or they can overcome it a lot easier. The same can be done for Hidari and Sarada, right? We didn't really see any emotional talking between the two of them, but we can probably infer or learn from like basic reasoning that Hidari has father-daughter relationship with Sarada, and that's the love, and that's different kinds of love, you know, for different people. So they could probably learn something about Matsuri's crush on Konohamaru, or Bug's love for Ada, even though they haven't met or confronted each other yet. It's kind of like I would say more of like a lustful kind of a situation, not so much as a crush, right? But that's what makes it different between the two of them. Jura, he has no love like the rest of them. He has no love like Ryu hasn't been confronted by Gaara, so we haven't really seen that moment. We haven't seen Hidari and Sarada have like a talk one-on-one. They've definitely fought each other, and he definitely acted on his instincts to devour her, but no real talk between the two. And then we haven't seen Bug and Ada, and now with Matsuri and Konohamaru, they're going to learn so much from her experience. They're going to learn so much about that feeling and how it felt, and how it just completely shook her up and messed her up and made her basically brought her down. You know what I'm saying? It didn't, put it this way, she wasn't at her strongest when she was basically like blushing over or like crushing on Konohamaru in that moment, right? She wasn't like this huge threat. But now that she's jealous, now that she's angry, now that her emotions are taking over her and influencing her actions, now she's dangerous. Now she's even in a stronger position. She's even more of a threat than she was before, you know? And especially towards Konohamaru. But who knows what happens after that. So I think that the Shinju can learn so much from Matsuri's win or loss. It depends on how this mission goes on or how it ends. But they can definitely learn how her love or her feelings towards Konohamaru have changed her and made her feel jealousy, anger, love, joy, excitement, fear, shyness, right? Like, they made her feel a whole range of them, and she's going to be able to communicate that to them. She's going to be able to basically, hey, it's going to feel like this, but you can ignore all of that, right? And just devour them. Don't even think about them. They're awful. Konohamaru is awful. He's a worse person, right? Like, and they'll probably communicate that to each other. And I don't know, we'll have to see when we get there, but the Shinju have so much to gain from this, you know, because they're not all in the battle, right? Like, this isn't the end, right? This is just the beginning. So the Shinju, the more and more they live, the more and more experiences they have with the shinobi, the more and more knowledge they're going to gain, the more and more insight into their feelings and emotion and logic and reasoning and their goals and how their personalities differ from each other and what it could mean to basically maybe even challenge one another or challenge the shinobi, or learning the whole concept of being human or having consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be really interesting. It's tough to believe that these Shinju were just born like yesterday. You know, I know it feels like a long time because the chapters are released monthly, but it really does. It's like it's only been a few days or maybe even a week of them just being alive. So they're still getting used to it. Before they were just this mindless beast, ten tails, but now they're conscious humanoid Shinju, and it's going to be interesting to see how their personalities differ and what they learn, or what motivates them moving forward after this mission. So they have so much to gain from this, and it's a little scary, but it's going to be really cool to see what else they learn, what else they take away from it. And I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to learn what challenges they face and how they're going to emotionally grow and differ from one another. So that's for the future. So thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah,